say. Hello, and welcome. This is a new platform, and I hope it's all working well.
Well, it's delayed. I can't check it.
Yeah. So, yeah, if anybody wanted to know what the music we're listening to, well, we're using the Stream Beats by Harris Heller. So, which I was not planning on keeping that up. I completely forgot about that.
Nice job.
Yep. Totally professional. Anyways, welcome in. Welcome. We are going to bring this up. There we go. Now we are doing gasoline cooking. Welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? It's been a long week for me, but yeah, long weekend now coming up, Labor Day weekend. So, woot. And I'm practically tired, but luckily I do not have to talk tonight. This is all going to be Allie's show and her obsession with Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry,
Excuse me, it's
is
not quite an
obsession
obsession.
too much?
It is.
Oh, okay.
I have a bigger obsession with Marvel characters, so get it right.
True. Sorry. My bad. Anyways, how's everyone's week been? You know, hopefully it's not like Florida where it's just been hot and just muggy, and oh my god, I'm just so tired of it now. It's like this is when I question, why did I move here? Why am I here? Dear goodness.
Well, this will make you feel better. I learned an interesting fact about Indiana and humidity this week. Corn is the reason why it is so humid.
Really?
Yeah, because the corn is growing and it's releasing into the ozone and everything. So the water basically is going up into the air as it starts to ripen and be ready to harvest and causes the humidity. Yeah.
Fair, I guess.
That was a fun fact to find out. And I'm like, that's why it feels like 105 degrees every day this week.
So, if you didn't learn anything today, too bad, you already did.
That's what happens when your friend's an ex-meteorologist.
Oh, what? Okay. What station?
WNDU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he used to do the morning show.
Huh. So I probably don't know them because I never watched the morning show.
Yeah, probably not. He's a good dude. He's a nerd. I like him. He's funny.
Fair enough. So
how was your week?
I already told you my week. How was your week?
No, you haven't gone into depth. You just sort of touched on it.
Yeah, there's not much to do. I work in a thrift store. You know, I come home sweaty and tired, full of water on my clothing because rain and sweat. But I mean, beyond that, like, yeah, I mean, nothing really groundbreaking besides was it Gamescom ending, I think, this week.
And then Nintendo Direct.
And then there was a Nintendo Direct, which again I was too busy and I was not able to watch it, but we were getting Pico Park 2. And so we're gonna have to get the friends together to end the friendship, you know.
Okay, so
we were so close last time. Last time we were so close, so we have to finish it off this time.
Like, no, okay, so we played that and no, we can't.
It'll be fine.
That involves bringing Goes by the Ground back into the fold, and we can't. Chris is on bed rest. We gotta wait.
Yeah, that's right. He's on bed rest. Hope you feel better, Chris.
We love you, Chris.
We miss you. But no, they are bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom collection on the Nintendo Switch. So, like, yeah, I'm excited about that because, like, I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, that was my jam growing up, going to Alley-Oops in Scottsdale Mall.
Oh my god, I miss Alley-Oops.
Yeah. And going to the exact corner when you walk in to the left, there's that one little nook. And there was a claw machine and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 playing, and nobody was there. So I was always like, can I have a quarter? Can I have a quarter? And rushed over as soon as I could. As soon as we ordered, I went right over and started playing. I loved that game so much. It was so fun. Oh, another thing, and I'll stop talking. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie is now coming out, and Keanu.
He's obsessed with Keanu being in the trailer.
When I heard that there were rumors that Keanu Reeves is going to play Shadow the Hedgehog, I kind of fangirled a little bit, but also at the same time, I'm like, would he really though? And yes, the answer is yes. He is, and he would. And it works so good. Like if you played Sonic Adventure 2, that works pretty good. That worked really good. So I'm excited to see what the story is. I just got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I'm going to watch that this weekend, catch up on it, because December of this year is when the movie is going to be coming out. So I'm excited.
So you'll go see this in theater, but you won't go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Listen, Linda, I've been busy the past few weeks, okay? And I've been
Betty.
poor, okay?
Okay, Betty.
Jeez. Anyways, how was your week?
Long. I don't remember Wednesday.
That's what she said.
No, like legitimately. I was at work yesterday and I texted my best friend and I was like, I'm sorry I didn't reply to you yesterday. She goes, that was Tuesday. Today is Thursday. I'm like, oh, when was Wednesday?
It's a millennial thing. We kind of black out every so often. So it's a millennial thing. Don't worry.
I'm having car problems, like just like it overheated 3 times today.
Ooh, so you didn't get that fixed yet?
No, it's going to the shop tomorrow, actually.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. But I went and bought coolant for the first time, which if you're a woman and you have to figure out these things and you're trying to figure it out, don't ask a man at an AutoZone. Just don't do it.
Ask your
they
guy
look at you like you have. Thank you. Like, ask your boyfriend, ask your husband, ask your brother. My brother's on the phone with me. He goes, don't talk to them. This is what it is.
Yep.
I'm like, man, it's just coolant, y'all. But there's like 50 different kinds. And you have to make sure that it's your. I'm like, no. Yeah. No.
Technically, there's like 3 or 4, depending on what car brand you have. But yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
There's European. There's GM.
Yep. There's green, blue, and orange. That's all I know.
I got the orange. It said the orange, so I got the orange.
There you go.
And let's pray that it works, because I need this car to live. Even though it sucks.
Get you where you need to go. So
to work and back and pretty much.
Yeah.
Anywho, that was my week.
Oh, it wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah, car sucks. That it's not running. That sucks. But like, it's not bad. It could have been worse.
No, I decided I love my job this week, so we're good.
Fair enough.
For now.
For now. So we've been talking about this this particular episode for a little while, and this is an expertise, if you will, for Allie, which I do not have that much knowledge. Now, I do know of the games. I have seen the games being played from a previous life and from Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. I think he played that, right? Pretty sure he played.
Oh yeah, Jack's
not as much as Mark, but like, yeah,
he's the king.
Well, Mark is, yeah. So I do know a little bit of the lore, but when was it last week when we were like, yeah, we need to get ready? I said, okay, cool. Well, you'll probably have to take over the lead because I don't know that much. She stopped and got so quiet for a very uncomfortable amount of time, might I add. Gathered, started running back, and from what sounded like dropping books on a desk, and said, okay, we are going to do this. I'm like, excuse me? No. You're going to learn. You're going to learn it right now. I was like, oh, okay. And then she proceeded to go through and tell me pretty much the entire story in chronological order of the game series, not in the the way that they released. So that's when I said, yeah, we're doing it. We're doing this for the podcast. Then we're gonna make it as soon as possible. So now here we are. She's gonna give us the full breakdown of Five Nights at Freddy's, the background stories, and some of the Easter eggs in chronological order, canonically. I don't know what else to say.
To the best of my ability. To the best of my ability.
I mean, from what I heard, it was pretty good. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
Take it away.
All right. So we all know that like there's an order to these games of how they release, but there's also an order to how they are chronologically, and they are very mixed up. It's insane. So I guess just diving right in. The very first one. I'm
going to do my best to keep up with the internet pages to try and keep it fresh of where we're at.
So the very first one that falls in what could be deemed as chronologically like what it's supposed to be is FNAF 4.
Oh. Right.
And that I lovingly call the nightmare game. So, if you played any of the other ones, gameplay-wise, this was a game changer a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one now.
This one, you no longer were in a pizzeria. You were in a bedroom. You were a child. And you knew you were a child because the dresser had like one of those Fisher-Price looking toys, you know, that you had when you were a kid and you would wind it in the 80s and 90s. And it had the little smiley face and rang like it was ridiculous. You dragged it. Like it had a little toy cord and you could drag it. And it had like the little the ring toss thing that you had as a kid too.
Well, also didn't you have like a little like shake light worm buddy or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You were very clearly a child. And you would run from one door to another door into the closet. And the whole point of it was to keep the animatronics from coming into your room. So you would have to go to the door, you would have to listen to the sounds, and when you heard them, you would have to yank the door closed and hold it until they went away. And then the middle was Foxy, and he would try to come in because he looked kind of like this. But then sometimes he'd be an animatronic. Otherwise, he was just a little plushie.
Ooh.
And so, like, when he would turn to the animatronic, you'd have to shut it and keep him in there. And, like, behind you, you had what were called Freddles. And they were little, dark, shadowy versions of Freddy. And they were little. And you had to get them off the bed, like, turn around. They scatter back. So, like, there was a lot of different mechanics to this one. And there was... all of the versions of the guys were all nightmare versions. So you had like Nightmare Freddy, Nightmare Chica, Nightmare Foxy, Nightmare Monty.
Which are all like decaying and like gruesome looking. Maybe more so.
They're like a child's nightmare fever dream.
Right.
Like if a child was truly afraid of an animatronic, you would see it with the sharpest teeth and like a head that splits open and has more teeth and legitimately the most terrifying thing that a child could come up with. And you went through 4 nights of that. And on the 5th night, you only had one animatronic you had to deal with. And that was Freddy. And he was a lot more aggressive, but only when you shine the flashlight on him. So like when you would look out and you would turn your flashlight on, you'd piss him off if he was right there. And it was like, that. And he'd kill you. So with this game, though, there's a lot of arguments in the lore aspect of it. Being that you're a child, you see at every night that there's a mini game. And the theme of every mini game is the older brother wears like a Foxy mask and he terrorizes his little brother. jumps out from behind a TV, jumps out from under his bed, locks him in the parts and service room of the pizzeria with endoskeletons and empty masks. And I think he gets scared by a golden Freddy at one point, ends up under. But like this kid is truly traumatized by his brother and these animatronics. And at one point, his brother, with all his little friends, and they all have the masks on, lift him up to give Freddy a kiss, and Freddy's head chops down. And the kid gets bit.
So
in the head.
Is that the bite of 87?
This was 83.
Or 83, yeah.
This one was 83. There's a bite of 87, but this is the bite of 83.
Oh. Okay.
And so throughout the mini games, like you see this, you see all this happening. And then when you get to like, I think it's the sixth night, you see the little golden Freddy with the top hat who's been in every one of the mini games. And whoever is talking through him is like, you are broken, but I will put you back together. And then you hear like a flatline monitor in a hospital. So it's like, it signifies that this kid died. So the theory is always that this is the kid. He's in a coma. He's having this coma dream of the animatronics haunting him in his house. The things that lend to that theory are the IV station beside the bed and the pills that end up beside the bed at one point and the flatline.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. Like I didn't notice it the first time I played it, but the second and third time, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm looking for him. I gotta find him. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories, and I'm not gonna totally get into them as to who this crying child is, but the main villain, it's theorized that this is his kid. This is his son. And that his older son is the one that terrorized him. Again, that's a theory, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Side note, welcome Tavik. Welcome in.
Oh, hi Tavik. Welcome to my show.
This is her show tonight. She's going to give us story time of Five Nights at Freddy's.
All right, so following the canon then would be Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Five Nights 2.
Which, I lovingly refer to as the toy animatronics.
Toy animatronics. Oh, right. The mask you gotta wear every so often. And okay.
Yep. So this one does take place in a pizzeria like the first one, only this time there's no doors. There's vents. There's this big old open window here. There's lights on the vents, and there's like lights on the vents, and you have a flashlight, and you have a mask. And the mechanics are kind of same, but also sort of different. Without the doors, the animatronics can come in. So when they come in, you have to use well-timed mechanics, and you have to put up the mask, unless it's Foxy or the puppet. They're different. The puppet you don't want to come in. You want him to remain sleeping. I mean, you really don't want this.
The puppet master, right?
It's a little pup. It's the puppet.
Oh, I thought they call him the puppet master.
Nope. Just the puppet.
Just the puppet. Okay.
You don't want the puppet. Now, I'll explain what the puppet is in a little bit, but you don't want the puppet to come to you. And the only way to keep the puppet away is you have to wind the music box, which is on the camera with the carousel.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you have to monitor that while also monitoring where all the little jerks are. What?
I'm just remembering Markiplier, when he was getting so frustrated because of the music box and switching back from that to this to that with the mask and this and that and the mask and the music box. And it's just funny.
Like, keep the puppet sleeping. So, like, unlike the first game where you have a limited power supply, you have unlimited power for the security cameras and the vent lights. Your flashlight, however, is a different story. And because you need your flashlight, once you run out, you're screwed. So there's
Right.
still a lot of power conservation that plays a key element in this. And you've also got the little jerk known as Balloon Boy.
Yeah, that
Who
was one thing I know we talked about him before, but like, where w- he's just a random character, or like,
he's just
how's he
there.
playing all this?
He's just there. Like no one knows. He's just there.
Huh.
Balloon Boy is a creepy little dude who goes, "Hi, hello," and then comes and drains your battery on your freaking flashlight.
Right, but I
Like,
mean, like all the animatronics, they're like all haunted by children. So like, who's
not
haunting Balloon Boy?
nobody. Balloon Boy's haunting himself.
He's an anomaly.
Yeah, he's weird.
Fair.
There might be some lore that's been uncovered about him, but I haven't watched Tom talk about it on Game Theory
I'm
yet.
actually curious to know about that, to know about Balloon Boy. If anybody knows information about Balloon Boy, please write us a letter. I would love to know about this. Anomalies like that are like interesting.
Yeah, because like Balloon Boy is homie's got problems. I don't like him.
Yeah,
He drives me
does.
nuts. Yeah, hold on, 122. Balloon Boy's just like, from what I remember, he's just there.
Oh, so
Yeah,
she has a basically a character guidebook, a monster guidebook, if you will, from D&D about Five Nights at Freddy's of all the characters. So that's where she's reading from.
Balloon Boy's just Balloon Boy. I double checked because
just
yeah,
Balloon
it doesn't
Boy.
say anything. He's just Balloon Boy. He's just there. He's in every game after the second one. In some way, shape, or form.
I don't want to believe that, because I want to believe there's got to be some explanation to this. There's explanation about everything else, even the puppet, which you'll get into later. I remember that one. But like, that's just the random anomaly. That's just like, why? He's just there. Like, there's stories for everything else, but Balloon Boy. It's anyways. Go on.
Balloon Boy's a booger. He's a booger.
Yeah.
So in this game, you have, the toy animatronics. It's Toy Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. Foxy is a little different. He's Mangle. So Mangle's basically he's a Foxy variant that's completely taken apart, and kids, it's used. No, I'm sorry. As a parent, I'd be like, what are you doing? It is basically a pull apart and put back together animatronic attraction. Yeah.
Like a Build-A-Bear, but with more gruesome effects.
Yes.
Gross.
Children are encouraged to take it apart and put it back together. I'm sorry.
This timeline is
not
weird.
my children. Thank you. So the plot, but on top of this, you also have the withered versions of them. So it's like they're deteriorated, decomposing looking animatronics are also there.
Right.
They're gross, and they will come in your vents, and you got to like flash the light at them and get them the heck out, and you have to put the mask on. It's like, bleh. I don't like the withereds. I look at them and I can smell them.
What do they smell like?
I don't. Deteriorating, decaying corpses.
It's
like old meat.
Okay, so how do you know what that smells like?
I worked at a hospital. I was in a morgue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, never mind.
I was gonna say I know what it smells like. It ain't fun. Though,
Tabitha goes giggity.
Giggity giggity.
Giggity goo. Anyways.
That's what she said. Anyway. Anyway, so the plot on this one, there's a lot to unpack on this plot, so I'm only going to touch on it a little bit. Because you could really tell at this one that Scott was trying to start a story. It wasn't just something he was doing. He was actually trying something.
Except Balloon Boy.
And
Balloon Boy's just Balloon Boy.
Screw that little homie. So you work as the night security guard, Jeremy Fitzgerald. He gets phone calls throughout the night, same as the first one. And it's explained to him in these phone calls things such as that the animatronics all have facial recognition software connected to criminal databases.
Oh.
Yeah, so they can tell when people are bad. However, despite all of that, they're not given a proper night mode. So they always go somewhere to seek the noise. Like they want to find the children to hang out with and stuff like that. So when it's quiet and there's nothing,
Hmm.
they they I saw that time. they they will go to find the sound. And unfortunately, your office is the only thing with the sound. So they come in to find you.
Mm-hmm.
And as the nights go on, the phone guy reveals to you that someone tampered with the facial recognition software. The animatronics are acting weird. They're lashing out at all the adults, but not the children, just the adults. So something is wrong with them. And then on the 5th night, which is considered the final if you don't do the 6th and 7th optional ones, the player is told an incident has occurred. So it doesn't really say what the incident is on that night. Like there's a little lore stuff to it, but they say that an incident has occurred. It's like, okay. And they're going to close the pizzeria down. And then there's a newspaper clipping that says that all of these are going to be scrapped, but they're going to keep the originals and repurpose them for a new restaurant. So it's like, okay, you got rid of the ones with facial recognition software because someone tampered with them. And you're going to use the ones without, just quit. Just be done. Clearly be done. Some homies out there murdering kids with animatronics. What are you doing?
Right.
So that one is an interesting one. I mean, it's got all kinds of lore effects. It's got mini games, and that is the one that brought out some of, in my opinion, the best mini games as far as the lore goes. And I want to get their exact titles because I'm not gonna mess this up. All right. So there's the Save Them one, which is basically like the animatronics, like purple guy is taking you into a back room and like, yeah. There's Take the Cake to the Children. So you're delivering cake to the kids while there's a kid locked outside crying their little eyes out in the rain. But there's another mini game that goes further into that. There's the Foxy Go one. There's what I think is one of the best ones, and that's Give Gifts, Give Life, where the puppet is giving gifts to the dead children. So the lore on that one is that the puppet is giving the kids life to live through the animatronics that they have been stuffed inside of, so that they can kind of continue.
Right.
Haunting everything. But because the puppet in a lot of ways was the first one. So it gives life. As silly as that might sound. But those mini games they're some of the best ones in my opinion. Honestly. I like them. And this is a series known for its mini games and its ability to tell the lore through the mini games. So
a weird mini game, but all right.
Yeah. And if I'm right, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong and anybody wants to tell me, no, you're stupid, you're wrong. I can't remember if this is the one with the box. I don't think this is the one with the box though. No, I don't think that's this one. No, we'll get into the box though. Is this the one with the box?
The box. What's in the box?
Literally. We want to know. Like, Scott, what the heck, boy? Tell me.
Oh, so they never explained it.
No, I forgot that. In 4, it's the box. It's a box. It's a gray box, and you get it from Night 7, and it's sealed with 2 locks. Daco did Oh, by the way, the reason we're talking about this is because it's been 10 years since the first one came out. Daco just did an interview with Scott, and he brought up the box because Daco's Daco. He's gonna do whatever he wants.
I don't even know Daco, but go on. I don't pay attention to a lot of online personalities like some people, so sorry.
Okay, we're gonna have to correct that. So
after the show,
Daco asked him point blank, and he was like, he basically admitted that there probably was some plan for the box at one point, but he forgot. So that's either Scott trolling everybody like he always does, or he genuinely forgot.
Fair.
But that is so annoying if he forgot.
I mean, can you blame him though? Like the franchise kind of blew up, and he wasn't expecting it at all.
Take notes, bro. I want to know what's in the box.
We're millennials. We don't take notes.
He ain't a millennial.
What? I thought he was.
I think he's an Xer.
Either way, like,
take notes, bro.
So
find your sticky notes.
For anyone who's wanting to create a game, always write down your notes and keep your notes. That's like an artist's thing that you learn is whatever you draw, whatever you do, hold on to it until the very last breath, because you never know when you are going to come back and those sketches are going to be useful.
You never know when someone like me is going to be like, come on. I'm just saying. All right. Moving on to the next one.
Moving on. Hold on. Just to verify, Tavik, what point are you referring to? The valid point. I'm just curious.
He's always just curious.
Holding on. I'm always learning. I want to learn. Like always holding on to your notes and all that. I think it's might be what he's referring to.
That might be what it is, because honestly, I write stories, and you should see my timelines and my notes. I have sticky notes everywhere for things when I'm writing a story. I think they're somewhere around here, actually. I have a binder full of them.
Good point.
Well, he's going to answer you.
Yeah.
The next one. Okay, so it's highly debated if the one I'm going to name first comes before or after the second one, but I like to think that sister location comes next.
Okay, so just to interrupt, that millennials and Gen X don't take notes.
I'm an anomaly. Yeah. I take notes. I wrote a whole script for this. This is the first one I wrote a script for.
She's very proud of that one, actually.
I'm so proud. Go me.
Which, yeah, congratulations. Actually, it's not easy, since we were never taught that. We were taught in school to, well, be in a factory and all that stuff. So, you know, anyways, I'm not getting into that. That's for another time. Outliers happen. Yes, they do. That they do.
Rare.
I'm special. Anyways, continuing on.
Sister location. I call this one the "Oh my God, what is happening?"
Also known as the scooping room.
It is the scooping room.
Yeah, I remember this one. This one was very different.
This one, very different. This one is an entirely different game than the ones that came before it. I remember seeing the trailer and being like, "Oh my God, they're so shiny. Why are they so shiny?" And like the one where her face opens up and like the Ballora's like, damn. I'm like, huh? And then finding out that this was gonna this one has voice acting in it. And like legitimate from the animatronics voice acting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now I'm thinking about all the other games. Like there was hardly anything besides the phone guy. There's no other voices. So
the occasional dum 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 as you're sitting in the office.
Like that's, you know.
Shut up, Foxy. Heard enough of you. But this is very different. You go down every night on an elevator. You crawl through a vent and hide from little mini circus babies. You have to crawl in the dark and avoid Ballora spinning around you. You have to turn the power back on and not have Funtime Freddy get you and like lure him back to where he needs to be with sound stuff. And you get stuffed. Oh, baby kidnaps you and stuffs you inside of a suit, and you have to keep the spring locks from coming at you while having little mini Balloras crawling up you. And then the scooping room.
I remember first seeing this, and I'm like, wow, this they it was kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's, but like a futuristic kind of style to it, because they're like chrome and shiny, and it's like, wow, that was
They
very
are
interesting.
they are truly beautiful,
Yeah.
but they all have a very dark purpose.
Okay.
So the plot of this one is the Funtime animatronics were created by William Afton, who at this point is established he's the bad guy. He created Afton Robotics. I believe that's what it's called. And
So he's
without the help,
the guy who created Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics,
yes, him and his
the
partner Henry.
animatronic parts.
Yeah. Henry went
Gotcha.
one way, William went another.
Okay.
William did this without Henry. So it is theorized that all of these animatronics, all beautiful, were created purely to aid in the kidnapping of children. Yes. Yes. So there are new animatronics introduced to the franchise. There's Ballora, who's a dancing ballerina.
Yeah.
Funtime Foxy. Bon Bon, who is a little puppet that's on Funtime Freddy.
Okay.
And Circus Baby. So Ballora, while beautiful and gorgeous and fantastic looking and has an amazing voice, is used as a distraction with her beautiful songs and dancing to kind of distract everybody. And Funtime Foxy is programmed to mimic parents' voices to lure children away from their parents or their friends. And Bon Bon is equipped with a parent tracker feature. So Bon Bon will keep an eye on where the parents are. Yeah.
So this is basically like a mafia setup, like full blown mafia going. Okay.
Yeah. It gets worse. It gets worse.
How worse? Can we say it online? Is that the question?
Freddy and Circus Baby each have the ability to grab and store children in their torso.
Oh.
Legit have the ability. If you look, there's in the game, like you can look at their schematics, and in the schematic you see a child inside of the casing, I guess.
Right.
In the storage component. Circus Baby, how she does it, she gives ice cream, okay? And you never want to be alone with her, because any child that's alone with her, she'll automatically pull them inside of her. But otherwise, if she's out with a bunch of kids, she's just giving them ice cream from the ice cream dispenser that's in her chest. Which is so weird to me.
Yeah.
So William creates her, okay? And his daughter, Elizabeth, thinks she's beautiful and thinks, oh, you made her for me, Dad. And like you hear sound bites in like the game Between the Nights and stuff. And she's like, why can't I see her, Father? And she's very British. However, William, with all this, he doesn't count on his own daughter becoming a victim herself. One day she sneaks away and she's alone with Circus Baby and she's saying how beautiful she is, and Circus Baby scoops her and kills her. So once she is killed, they notice that the animatronic's eyes, which were blue, are now green, the same color as Elizabeth's. So he's lost his daughter. He's angry. He's pissed off. He's mad. And if it's following it canonically and the other kid is his son, he's pissed the two of his kids are now dead. By my children. By your own creations, damn it.
Yeah. What have these hands done? Why do they always create destruction?
So it's essentially at this point, the animatronics are placed in an underground storage facility and are only rented out to private party.
So that's why you go down every time. It's just a storage facility, not the location of a new pizzeria.
No.
Okay, the title's a little bit misleading, but okay,
Yeah.
cool. Interesting.
They're only rented out for private parties. And it's during this time
Wait, so
the
they still
animatronics.
rent them out?
It doesn't really tell you for how long or anything like that, or if they had been even recently, but that's what was said the purpose of the underground facility was. Yeah. You gotta make that cheddar, man.
I mean, yeah. You just not tell them like, hey, there might be a malfunction here or there. They might be a little haunted, but other than that, they should be fine. And it's like, wait, what was that part? They should be fine. Yeah.
So it's during this time they develop a desire to escape the facility. They no longer want to be used as devices for killing children. They're being shocked. They give controlled shocks to keep them in check. These animatronics want out. They're tired of it. They see what their purpose was for and they don't want to do it anymore. And you figure that out through Baby, but you also start to see it through the others. There's one night you come back and they're like, the technician is yada, yada, yada. You hit the light and the technician is hung from the ceiling. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing tonight. Cool. And then I think it's like the third night or whatever, you get like kidnapped by Baby. She puts you in a suit. And she's essentially telling you that they don't know where you are. They don't know that you are still here. I'm keeping you. And you're trying to keep the locks from. It's like, girl, what are you doing?
Right.
But it's also during this time that she's trying to develop a thing for you because she's got a plan. Her and the other animatronics have already gone to the scooping room. They've already been scooped. And they've become a new thing called Ennard, which is all their little pieces put together with Baby in charge. And this is how they're going to get out. All their endos are out of their little beautiful casing. They're all combined into one with Baby running the show. And she's like, I know how we're going to get out.
So it's like a giant blob. They become a giant blob of mechanics.
It still stands. It still walks. I have to see if I can find
well, a sort, but like, yeah, they're all morphed and merged into one entity.
Yes. They're all one big thing.
Like a Megazord.
Yes. Like a Transformer. It's like the Power Rangers. It's like the Power Rangers.
There you go.
And with this crazy chick at the helm, like they gonna get out. She's done. They're getting out. She don't want nothing to do with this anymore. She's had it. And she has spent all of this time getting to know your main character, your protagonist. And yeah, like look at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute.
Imagine that staring at you at the other side of the window in the scooping room.
I'd rather not.
That was nightmare fuel.
I can imagine.
It only hurts. It only hurts for a moment. But she convinces your character that she's only going to hurt for a second. It's fine. She lures you to the scooping room and she scoops you. And she decides, I'm going to wear your skin around. That's how we're going to get out. But what she doesn't plan is that your skin withers, your skin decays, and people aren't going to think you're a person anymore when you're purple.
Huh.
And so her plan backfires, and in one of the little mini game things, little videos, it shoots out of the body and goes into the sewer. I can't stress enough that you need to go online and watch this part, because when I saw this, I went, I'm sorry, what?
That's gross.
Because as the character is walking down the street every morning, like they start to get more and more purple, and the neighbors are like
more decayed, and yeah.
And the neighbors are just like, and they're hiding behind their houses, and they're like staying in their houses and looking through the windows like, oh my God, it's back.
It's like, is he the witch? Is he the one?
But the creepiest thing is that after Ennard jumps out, the body stands back up and just keeps on going. Yeah. There's lore to that. But again, I'm not delving in that deep right yet.
Yeah, that sounds like more of a demonic possession at that point. Like, anyway,
Maybe.
maybe she
But
says.
that's a good game. Like, it's a good game. Where it
Yeah.
fits canonically is always up for debate, but I like to put it before FNAF 1, or at least around the same time frame as FNAF 1.
Okay,
My
so
reason for that...
keep going.
Huh?
Keep going.
Well, my reason for that is because the security guard in 1 gets fired for smell. And I think, and a lot of other people think, that the security guard is the person at the end of Sister Location who was scooped.
So their first instinct was, we're gonna wear your skin, and then we're gonna go to work.
We're just gonna go live our life.
As a security guard. Like,
they didn't even go that far. They just lived his life. They just were walking around the street. I don't know what they were doing, but they were just walking around.
yeah, but if the theory is that the first game, the security guard got fired because of a decaying smell, and people are saying that's the scooped animatronics in that one, then
that's the scooped guy after Ennard leaves and he stands back up.
yeah, but you understand what I'm trying to say, though. They're
Yes.
like, we want freedom, let's get a job.
Well, see, they actually escape him before he ever goes to be a security guard. And the reason for that is I would have to delve in a little deeper.
Okay.
The theory is that this guy who gets scooped is the older brother who terrorized the little brother in 4.
Oh, okay.
And he's going back to right his father's wrongs. Starting with his sister, who's down underground inside a baby. And he wants to release her or bring her back or something
Right.
like that. So
Okay.
she gains his trust, scoops her, and then he rises back up because his mission isn't done. It's just follow it as lightly as you can.
Okay.
His next stop would be to get the animatronics that are possessed by the kids that his father killed.
Which would be in Fazbear's Pizzeria.
The first one, FNAF 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's starting to make sense now, yeah.
So if you go to FNAF 1, which is one I consider to be next.
Okay. The original that started it all.
The one that started it all.
And only
the one that's on my
$5.
phone. The one that I played after I had my daughter on maternity leave.
Back in 2014.
The one that introduced me to Markiplier.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of where he got started, was because of Five Nights at Freddy's. Funny enough.
He is the king of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah.
So, in the first one, the gameplay, the concept is the most simple thing you can have. You're a night guard tasked with guarding a pizzeria. The name of the game is Survive Five Nights. Cool. Easy concept, right? You're stuck in an office. You got a door on this side, door on this side. You got 2 buttons, one for the light, one for the door. You can close the doors and the lights and stuff like that, but your main way of seeing what's going on is in the camera.
Yeah.
And your power drains pretty quickly. And you got to watch, the first night's easy, but second night you got to watch Bonnie and Chica. Third night, now you got to watch Foxy. And Foxy needs you to look at him every few minutes because he got stage fright. If you don't look at him, he's free to go. But if you look at him, he's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Stop looking at me. Stop watching me. He stays in his tent. But if you don't watch him, he runs out and he kills you.
He just wants a hug. He just needs attention. That's all he wants.
He just wants a little hug. I mean, how can you not love this cute little face? I actually like Foxy a lot. So,
Where?
you have to you have to watch your battery levels for sure. You run out of power. You run out of power. Freddy just plays his little jingle. I cannot remember the name of it. I usually remember it. I don't right now. But he
Oh, I
plays it
can
for
tell
you.
Yeah.
And you're like, please don't kill God. And then you're dead. But the third night's no, maybe it's the second night you have Foxy. Second night Foxy starts. The third night Freddy is active, and you have to watch him because he could go at either door. Unlike Bonnie, who will come to your left door, and Chica will come to your right door. It's always guaranteed they'll come there. Foxy always runs to your left door. Freddy will pick which one he wants to be at. So you really got to watch where he's going. And when Foxy runs, you can close the door, but if he hits the door, he drains your power a little harder. It's like if he bashes it, he'll take it down a bunch. And if you're already at like, say, 10% and he comes and does that, you screwed, my friend. You screwed. So it's interesting. But the plot of this one from the original is really simple. It didn't have too much to delve into. Again, you're a night guard who gets daily messages from previous employees through the phone. So the phone guy. He gives you hints of things. He lets you know what's going on during the day. He tells you the animatronics will roam at night. He's also the character that tells you about the bite of 87. He doesn't tell you what happened, but he tells you about the bite of 87.
Right.
He also tells you that if the suits find you, they might think that you're an endoskeleton that needs to be back in its suit, and they will forcefully stuff you back inside of one. Which
is honestly a terrifying, like, statement to hear. It's like, oh, cute.
He suggests, I think it's the second night or the third night, that you should play dead if they come in. But then he goes, they might still think you're one and stuff you in anyway.
So basically, if you fail, you're basically getting not scooped, but stuffed in an animatronic. Yeah, that's cute. Kind of makes you wonder what other animatronics they have sitting around in the back rooms.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Like, of the like doubles of like Chica and all them, or is it like a new animatronic?
It's like replacement parts.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then, yeah.
But it's on the fourth night. It's heavily implied that he did not survive. Because you hear a banging on the doors, like Foxy hitting the doors. And then you hear Freddy and his music. And he's just kind of like, so could you like check the animatronics in the back? And, you know, I think I could survive, but could you just check? Because he's pretty much sealed his own fate. He knows what's about to happen. Poor dude. But yeah. And I mean, there's kinds of glitch things, like you get like occasionally you'll have it's rare, but you'll get like the golden Freddy just like twitching on the ground in your office, but it goes away. You get a pop-up Freddy and it says, it's me. And that's like, what?
Golden Freddy.
Yeah. Golden Freddy.
Okay.
The posters will sometimes change. Little things will happen.
So you're slowly going insane, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But being that this was the first one, there wasn't a lot of lore. Like, you knew that the 5 kids had died. They couldn't find them. It's
right. That's what I mean. Like, this game was like made, but it wasn't made to be as blown up as what it did. It wasn't expected.
No.
So
really wasn't.
Not a whole lot of story, but as obviously time goes, more games come out, you're gonna have more lore and story that's like, oh, by the way, this was before the first one, which is fine. That makes sense. I mean, Star Wars did it, and look where it's at. Look at how well it did before the sequels.
We don't talk about.
We're not going to talk about that. Anyways, continue on.
There is like some little bit of like Easter eggy stuff. Like Freddy's got what looks like a handprint on his face. Yeah, it's like hands. They talk about how the animatronics smell. They smell really bad, and people are complaining that they smell really bad.
Right.
And it's heavily implied that that's where the kids are. Their bodies are in the animatronics. I can't remember if they're leaking or not. I feel like they say that they're leaking. I can't remember. I'd have to look. But it's just heavily implied that the kids are in there. And why people didn't think to look inside the animatronics is beyond me.
They don't want to get stuffed. I mean, duh. Like, come on. It don't take much.
I mean, deactivate them and look inside their bodies.
I've seen Help Wanted. I'm good.
True story. So trying to push this along. FNAF 3 is next.
Okay. Also, what about Phone Guy? What's the fun little secret behind that voice? Who's the voice actor, basically?
It's Scott.
That's all I was trying to get at. Yeah.
It's Scott Cawthon. He's Phone Guy.
Yeah. So it's fun. He puts himself inside his own game. It's kind of fun.
He gets more meta than that by the time we get to Help Wanted.
I mean, yeah, but it's I didn't know that about Phone Guy. I didn't know Scott voiced Phone Guy. And I was like, that's cool. Like,
that's cool. So Five Nights 3 takes a step away from the original concept. It's the first one that started to really change it. You're still in an office setting. However, there's only one animatronic you have to deal with in this one. And you have to lure that particular animatronic to other corners away from you using like laughter and things like that. And why are you laughing at me now?
Okay, so it's not you. I blame a specific animation by Pimations. It's funny because, well, okay, so you were talking about the sounds, and it's like the main animatronic is like, I'm gonna get you, and then oh yeah, hello, but first I'm gonna find out where that kid is, then I'm gonna come and get you, and he runs off. He's like, yeah, whatever, and then he's like, and then kicks back. And it's just, I love that animation when it comes to this one. But anyways, go on.
So while you have one animatronic to deal with, you also have 6 phantoms that you have to deal with. And so they're the other animatronics. And they all do something a little different. If the player is unable to avoid their behaviors, then their systems become compromised, causing the only animatronic to move faster to the player. So you want to try to avoid it. Those things happening. Like it getting too warm, or you're not able to breathe, or like your camera system gets knocked out, or your speaker system gets knocked out, the lure capacity. Like there's all kinds of things like that. So you're basically hallucinating. It's like you did a terrible dose of shrooms and now you got to deal with an animatronic.
So that's where all the shadows come from, is all these like heavy amounts of just hallucinations.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Your character's doing shrooms. Not only are you decaying, but now you're doing shrooms.
I mean, I was going to say, this is like the child that they're having hallucinations, but man, you throw the shrooms in there. I'm like, well, I can't say that about the kid. Dang.
No. So, this one, when it comes to the lore, is kind of tricky to talk about. If you follow the lore, it's surmised that the villain at this point knows William Afton. And he is the one inside of the suit, the only animatronic known as Springtrap. And I got a little Springtrap right here.
Cute and fuzzy.
He's so cute. He's a cute little murderer. So this takes place 30 years after the original one closed, and these people are starting a Fazbear Frights horror attraction. And it's set up 30 years after the original was closed and everything, and they were like really excited the second night. They're like, oh my, we found one. We opened this room and we found it. And it's like, why did you open the room? Why did you open the room?
It's like
He was
every
fine.
like Indiana Jones movie. It's like, why did you open the tomb? The tomb was fine. Now you have released hell on Earth.
Shut the dang door.
Put it back.
Let sleeping demons lie, okay?
Right.
But so you spend the whole game, you know, with that whole thing, and believe I don't like this one. I really don't like this one, like at all.
Why?
It's just not my favorite.
Like story wise, or
Not just story wise, but just like I like the mini games. That's probably the only thing I like are the mini games in this one. I don't like Springtrap and the way that he like kind of like he'll just outside of you, and by the time he's like doing that creep walk, you're so screwed at that point. And then he'll stand there and he'll stare at you in the door, and you're like, I know I'm fucked, bro. I know you're coming for me. I know I'm about to die. Just do it. Just do it. And you'll have like a staring contest with him until you pull the camera up, and then he's like, ah! It's like, I've been staring at you until the heat got too hot and I ran out of oxygen. I won the stare off.
I don't need oxygen to look at you.
He's like peeking around the corner like, I see. It's like, no, you don't, bro. Go. But the mini games are pretty good.
Okay.
The retro arcade ones. Happiest Day.
So the mini games have some more lore to this. That's basically what
the one that everybody talks about is Happiest Day. And that is the one where, like, as the puppet, you walk past all the party goers with their cakes, and last room is a gray crying child being watched over by the other gray children wearing masks of the animatronics. And when you give the child a cake, it stops crying and is given a mask of its own, which is the Golden Freddy mask. As all the masks then fall to the ground as the children disappear. Meanwhile, the balloons rise to the air and the minigame ends. So that is basically like the game saying these children are being put to rest. And that's sort of the whole point of this, is to put the children to rest.
Right. Okay.
And the game ends with the attraction being burnt to the ground and William Springtrap being burnt alive inside.
Oh, cute.
But as Afton always says, I always come back. Which brings us to Pizza Simulator.
All right. I think I have that. Where are you? There it is. Found it. So, Pizza Simulator. That came out in 2017.
That is the free game in all of these.
Oh, okay. That's the free. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember you telling me this one. Yeah.
And this one is very much a simulator, ladies and gentlemen.
That's oh my gosh.
Which is the name of the game here. So you're running a pizza restaurant. You are running your own Freddy Fazbear's. You are a merchant. You are a franchisee. You are there. You are doing it. And you have a choice. There are a lot of mechanics in this game, and you're building your own pizza simulator. You need money, right? You're doing your own franchise. You need money. You need people to come in. You need money. So you can go the safe route, get very little money, and nobody gets hurt, and you're fine. You're free to go. That's the worst ending you can get in the game. Yeah.
So the good ending is the bad ending.
The safe ending is the bad ending.
Okay.
So
dark.
You're telling me, because I wanted to try it just to see what would happen the first time. I was like, well, this is lame. So every single day, and when it starts out, you find an animatronic in your alleyway. Every single day.
The same one?
No.
Oh.
The first day, you find Circus Baby. She has been kicked out of Ennard, that big amalgamation from Sister Location. And she has put herself back together.
So, from the Megazord of parts, she got kicked out of the Megazord, basically, and so now the Megazord's missing a foot, hopping around while she's putting herself back together. That's weird. All right.
They done had enough of her crap, and they kicked her to the side and told her, get out, ain't nobody got time for you. Trying to find a picture of her.
Weird, but
because, well, I mean, think about it. If you've got some chick who's just standing there bossing you around and thinking she runs the show, and she don't run the show, and everybody's supposed to have a say in it, and she's like, no, I'm the queen of the world. You're gonna get a little sick of her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she thinks she's hot, you know what, and she's gonna run the show. Oh, there she is. 156. Okay. No, that's her there. Okay, there she is. That's her when she comes back.
Oh, adorable.
Yeah. Adorable. So she comes back, and she's the first one you have to deal with. And you can decide, do I want to scrap her or do I want to salvage her? And how you salvage them is you have to do controlled tests on them and have them not jump scare you. If they jump scare you, they get into your pizzeria anyway and they'll get you. You get no money. If they don't jump scare you, you bring them back in, you get money for the salvage, but now you have an animatronic to worry about.
Huh.
And you do this with a few of them. I'm trying to remember which ones show up. Funtime Freddy, Springtrap, so William Afton, and a black bear named Lefty, who is very, very, very important.
Okay, so is this an animatronic black bear or a real life? Okay.
No, he's an animatronic. He was designed for a very important purpose. And honestly, he creeps me out, but he is very, very, very important. And I will get into that in just a second because I got his picture up here. Okay, so each night that you do this, you can get money. You also have ads that you can get. And those ads give you more money, but because you have to go to your office and complete your task on your computer, with ads will pop up on your computer creating sound, which will draw the animatronics to you. You don't want them to come to you. So to get them to not come to you, you have to turn off your computer, which stops your tasks for now and makes the night longer. But it also makes the room warmer, and your player will pass out if it gets to 120 degrees.
Okay.
Because the computer is connected to the fan. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
But all right.
Whoever
yeah,
did this.
Sure.
So you can choose to do the sponsorships. You can buy other animatronics, like there's another gang of them. It's like a frog and a pig and a hippo and cow or something. They're all stupid, but they're all there. And you can have those. You can have different attractions, but all the attractions have a safety feature on them. So you could go safe and do the safest ones you want and not have any lawsuits filed against you. Or you can go for the cool ones that do make you some more money, but you're going to get lawsuits and you're going to lose money because you're doing lawsuits. Your lawyers are having to take care of it. Because people got hurt. So those are the mechanics for this. The story is basically, you're doing all that every single night. You get the animatronics. And each time they get into there. Basically the lore, which is very extensive, is that this entire pizzeria is a trap. It is a trap created by Henry, William's old partner.
Okay.
He is trying to right the wrongs of William.
So this is after... Is this still 30 years after, or...
Yeah.
Okay.
He is trying to fix everything. He brought Elizabeth back, which he talks about her in his final phone call. He brought his friend back, and he can't wait for him to be in the pits of hell, as he says. Like he says, the darkest depths of hell are waiting for you, my friend.
Hmm. Okay.
And then he monologues about his daughter. And his
Hmm.
daughter is the puppet. The puppet was created to monitor kids to make sure they didn't get away.
Hmm.
And they were tied to a kid who had a special bracelet on. And his daughter had that bracelet on. And his daughter was locked outside and died. And the puppet went to find her, crawled to her, and laid next to her. Again, this is a theory. I mean, we can never confirm that everything is accurate, but that is the
Right.
theory. And she took over the puppet. And
Hmm.
she is angry. And she gives life to so many other people and helps them. And Henry acknowledges that. And he says that it's her turn to be at rest now. And that's when you start to realize Lefty has her inside of it. Lefty is designed to catch the puppet.
Hmm.
And you can tell that Lefty has the puppet inside of it. It's not a good picture here, but I can't, it's too far because inside when you go to the salvage, this
Yeah.
little booger head,
Okay.
Lefty,
Hmm.
he's in this thing, he's got, can't really see here, but that's the puppet. You can see it
Hmm.
sticking inside of it. And that's how we all figured out, that he was a trap to get
The
Charlie
puppet.
back. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And he tells the person who has it that there was a way for them to get out, to escape this fire that's going to kill all of it.
Hmm.
But he doesn't think he wants to do that. Because I don't think he wants to leave. Which is true. Because what his lore base is, this is Michael. And if his father's going to burn and everything's going to burn, he's going to burn with it because this is it. This is the end. This is it.
Hmm.
And it burns to the ground. And that's all she wrote. And
Okay.
that was supposed to be it. That was supposed to be it. I mean, there's the ultimate custom night, which is said to be the hell that Afton is trapped in, like as a joke and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Continuously having to live this nightmare of being killed by his own animatronics and tortured by his own animatronics and tortured by his own victims. But really, let's just call it what it is. It's a funny thing to watch Markiplier play over and over and get pissed off for doing 2020 mode.
Just another game for him.
I like the
Well,
next ones I won't super delve into because I know we're short for time, but
I mean,
because we're almost done. We're getting there.
okay, sure.
Because the next one would be Help Wanted, was its first foray into VR.
2 seconds here. Help wanted. That's not it. That's not it. Where are you? Could have swore I had it. That's helpful. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I didn't even click on it yet. There we go. All
He's
right.
in charge of bringing up the images.
Yeah, which this is the first VR game.
Yes. And
which
it is.
is frightening, and I will never, ever, ever, ever play that. Oh.
I mean, the gameplay for this, like, I don't even know how to start because this game is an open map concept. You know, you're basically replaying all of the other games. You're basically doing that. And like, it's all the same mechanics. You're reliving everything. There's a part that is so funny. You're going through the ride when you're first getting into the game, and it's like, the games are created by a rogue indie developer, and it's a picture of Scott. It's a really scary experience. It literally puts you, like, you almost feel like you could touch the animatronics.
Yeah,
Like
that's why I'll never, because if you can touch them, they can touch you. And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm good. No. That ain't never gonna happen.
So it's a fun experience. It had some pretty cool DLC. It had Dreadbear DLC, which is 100% worth it, and it was very good. And the story
Sure.
behind this is you are a game tester and you're finding these cassettes in each of these little things. And when you put the cassettes together and you get the ending, Glitch Trap, who is supposed to be like the like he's supposed to be Afton, but like his internet, like it's like your internet footprint, kind of like his data stuck inside of all of these chips from the original simulators and stuff like, or from the original pizzeria that she's decoding, and so he gets out like a virus.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, so he's like a bad virus.
Hmm.
So, like your tester basically, like the end of it is, if you get that ending, is Glitch Trap tricks you into a box, slides it, and shows you the face, and you're clearly trapped inside the box, and he takes over your body, and the tester is now taken over. And Glitch Trap's out. He's out of the box. You let him out. He's free to do whatever the heck he wants.
They can't do much. He's a
Free.
virus, so I mean, like,
He's a free boy
right?
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does turn this person into serial killer. Because he's
So
possessed.
he's possessed. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a weird virus.
Yes. This is heavily implied through all of the tapes, but also with the ARG special delivery mobile game. There's emails you can read that sort of indicate like the company's like, hey, you're making weird searches. What are you doing? Why are you buying this? What's happening? What are you doing? That heavily implied that she is possessed and she's doing things she doesn't even know she's doing. So then I guess we could just move straight to security breach because
Yeah. So I guess
this
in
is
a
the
way, like the augmented reality, like they made that in that world essentially, and like she was playing it and somehow got possessed because of the augmented reality from her phone. That's interesting, actually.
well, she gets possessed from testing the game and from the data in the game. The phone thing is purely just like it's for us to play, but we
Well,
get the
that's what I
sprinkled.
mean. But like
Yeah, we
the
get this.
augmented reality could have been a part of like their programming, their testing.
Yeah,
You know, that's all I was trying to get at. But
yeah.
security breach.
Anyway, security. This is the steel wool era, which in my opinion is not a bad era. It's doing pretty good.
So this is a different developer who
Scott
was making the games.
Scott was making them on his own, and then he had a seat. Now he has steel wool. He's
Which is
still.
why it looks so polished and more expensive.
It's more expensive. He's still, he's still in charge of everything. He still does the story, but steel wool creates everything else.
So now he has
So
a
that
team,
leads.
which is
Yeah,
good.
now he has a team.
Yeah.
So now this leads into security breach, which gameplay wise, I don't even know where to start. Other
And
than
then
this is the
also
game
another funny animation, but
yeah. This game pisses me off, but it has some of the funniest dang moments I've ever seen in a game. Like, there's the point when Mark's trying to get Freddy to come to him, and he's like, Freddy. Freddy's just running across, and Monty's trying to kill him.
I think I've seen
There's
that
another
one
where Mark's in the
on the
elevator with
stairs and
Freddy.
all that. Yeah.
Mark's in the elevator with Freddy, and he's like, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna put it inside you. And then Freddy disappears. He's like, I guess you didn't like the idea.
Nobody wants anything put inside them, but to be fair, but I mean, it's whatever,
But It also pisses me off because the first time I played it, I got 3 hours into the game. I was like a few hours from the end of it, and I had to turn it off, and my save did not save, and I lost everything.
Oh, gross.
Oh yeah, I raged on that one. I was pretty mad.
So I gotta mention the trailer for that they show in Steam is really bizarre at the end.
Oh, the Vanny thing?
The what?
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
the crying helper guys?
Puppets. Oh,
No,
they're
they're not puppets.
what are they? Helper guys.
They are
I've
helper
never played this
guys.
game, so helper guys. What
Mm,
are they?
hold on. They're basically like they are little robots on like wheels that'll give you like
Okay.
maps, or they tell customers like, here's your food. Like they serve you food, or they tell you this bowling lane is open. Like they are,
Roaming kiosks. Gotcha.
yeah, they're roaming
Information
kiosks.
kiosks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what they are. And I don't have a picture for them. That's okay.
So okay. Yeah. Go on.
And yeah, some of them are creepy. That's more of a ruin thing than that. But so the game is a very
Okay.
open concept map. You can kind of go wherever you want.
Right.
You're on the floor. Like you are literally a small child. You have to climb up on things. Things are visibly higher than you.
So this is more your height then. So this is what it looks like when you run around in real life.
Somebody get him. Somebody get him right now. I am not that short. Somebody get him right now.
You're short.
Ay, ay, ay.
Anyways.
Anyway. Jerk. You have to avoid the animatronics. They are roaming and they want you. If they see you, they'll chase you. They'll most of the time get you. You can hide in dumpsters. You can hide in like boxes. You have hidey spots, but you have to avoid them. You can even hide inside of Freddy, but he does have limited power, and like he does have power stations, but there aren't a lot of them. There's also points where like you will call Freddy and he can't get to you because the game's like, no, Freddy doesn't have access to this area.
Game's broken. Gotcha. We know all about that.
No, like he legitimately just can't get there. Like something's happened and he can't get there now.
Right.
The roaming animatronics too have amazing senses. Like Roxy is a jerk. Like she's in this warehouse part and you have to sneak around her. I don't know how she always hears me. I'm like, girl, you're over there and I'm over here. How?
I mean, she's a fox. She's got heightened senses.
I timed her. I have a trick now with her, but she makes me mad.
Yeah, anyways.
But you also have to deal with like moments where the security guard's trying to get you and you're kind of away from her. There's moments where you're locked inside of a room and Freddy's trying to figure out how you're going to get out, but you have to keep the doors shut and you have to keep them from breaking the doors. So there's some elements of the first games in there too. There's a lot of sneaking. There's a point where you can crush Chica,
which we've watched actually probably about 3 times looping this.
Yeah, point where you crush Chica. There's a point where you make Roxy get in a car accident on her own raceway.
Oh wow. Okay.
Monty, you could get Monty hurt on his own thing. I forget what happens in the Fazzacade. I can't remember, but that's interesting. But you can choose to go get weapons. You could get like a little like phaser gun and things like that. But the plot is Glitchtrap, who escaped and help wanted, is possessing Vanessa, the security guard, who is the former tester.
Okay.
And she's basically his minion, but she has another personality, Vanny, and you see in the trailer she's the white bunny.
Oh, okay.
And when she hops past like Gregory, the screen gets fuzzy. Like it's glitching out.
Yeah.
Like something's possessing it. And you play as Gregory, and he's inside of Freddy when it starts. And you don't know why. Why is he inside of Freddy? Why is he in the pizzeria? Who brought him here? Why does security guard want to like kick his egg? Because it opened up. Freddy has a malfunction on stage and goes back to his room, and there's a child inside of him, and that's what caused the malfunction. Yeah, there's a child hiding inside of him.
That's not Gregory.
No, because Freddy's like, that's where I store cakes, not children.
Huh. Okay.
But Gregory's in there. I want to meet the cake that is the size of this child.
I mean, I've seen some pretty massive cakes at weddings, so I mean, you know.
But you don't really get told what's going on with Gregory. You really just don't.
Right.
It's implied he's there trying to find his friends who were killed, but you don't know.
So there have been some incidences at this pizzeria complex of a mall, freaking super arena.
The superplex. Like, who built this? Who decided that they were like, oh, Freddy Fazbear's doesn't have bad stuff going on with it. Let's just build this mondo huge pizzaplex on top of, and I'll get to that in a minute, something very important that you shouldn't have built on top of.
An Indian burial ground. Gotcha. Pet cemetery. Gotcha.
That would be fun compared to this.
Okay.
You have new characters. You have Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica, Roxy, who is a wolf, Roxanne Wolf, and Monty the Gator are two new additions. Bonnie from the other ones.
Yeah.
It's heavily implied that he and Monty got in a fight, and Monty took him out and took his place.
Okay.
I mean, these freaking animatronics have their own dressing rooms that you could see inside of.
Okay, so I guess the next question is, are they also possessed, or are they just AI?
They're just AI.
Oh.
This whole place is AI controlled when you really get down to it.
Okay, so this is like what's going to happen next year for us. Gotcha.
This place is incredibly easy for a virus to get in and take over.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So, as you go through the game, you get pieces of lore of things that are going. There's different scenes that you can walk through. I'm not going to spoil a whole lot of it. But eventually, Gregory can decide to leave, or he can stay and figure out what's going on and stop these evil animatronics. So in order to do that, he has to take them all out individually. And each time he takes one out, he can take their upgraded part and upgrade Freddy, who's the only one that's with him that's safe.
Like Mega Man. Gotcha.
Yeah. He takes Chica's voice box. He can take claws from Monty, or he could take eyes from Roxy. All of these things add new elements, which opens new areas in the pizzaplex for you to go.
So it's kind of like a Metroidvania where you're going to be revisiting these areas more than once.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Like when you fight Monty, you eventually drop a whole bunch of like balls on him and it like crushes him. And you can take his claws. Roxy, you race her and eventually crash.
Right.
Chica, you lead into the crusher.
The crusher, yeah.
I don't know if that's how you get rid of her, though. I know it's how you get past her, but I can't remember how you get her voice box. But you can replace her voice box because Freddy doesn't like that you took it. And you can get her voice box back. There's a little mini game for that.
Okay. But he's okay with everyone else just stealing their parts except for Chica. Don't touch Chica.
No, he's not okay with it. He's not okay with it. He doesn't like that Gregory's doing this.
Okay.
But every time you get a part, there's a mini game where you have to put the parts onto Freddy. And if you don't do it right, because it's like a Simon Says kind of thing. If you don't do it right, Freddy will kill you. And he even
Oh,
warns
cute.
you, I can't control myself if you mess up. I will kill you. And the saving mechanic on this is very weird. There's not very many saves. If you get to certain points, you have to backtrack then and go all the way back. Like I hate the saving mechanic in this game.
Is it like having a ink ribbon every time you want to save for like Resident Evil, I think it was?
Might as well be. It's so dumb. And like there's one
Okay.
point that's almost game breaking. Like you save before you go to the final thing. And if you don't do certain things, you can't go back. Like you are stuck right there. It's like, what? Why? Now I got to play it all over again? Screw you.
Mhm.
So there are multiple endings in this. I'm not going to break them all down, but it is heavily considered that the Princess Quest ending, which is very hard to get, you have to do a lot of stuff, is canonically the ending. And the reason for this is because the DLC. There's only been one DLC for this game, and it is free, and it's called Ruin. And it takes place sometime after the Megaplex has been closed, and it's falling apart. It's like being torn apart or something.
So they don't specify what year, they're just saying it's sometime after.
Yeah. It can't be too long after, because honestly, Gregory
I was going to say, so you're not playing
over.
Gregory. Okay.
Playing as Cassie.
Okay.
And Cassie comes to the Megaplex after her friend Gregory sends her like like on a walkie-talkie. She has a Roxy walkie-talkie because Roxy's her favorite. She's a Five Nights freak.
Like you. Gotcha.
I mean, okay. She gets a walkie-talkie of like, hey, I'm trapped. Come save me. So she goes, and it's decrepit and falling apart. It truly looks bad. And she gets in there, and just to kind of surmise it really quick, she gets a VR augmented reality mask that looks like Vanny's mask. And she can walk through things that are there. Like everything changes. She ends up like, she can't take it off at certain parts. It's this whole big thing. And she ends up getting to the end, and she finds out that there's this AI that's trying to get out. And the AI that is trying to catch you is not the bad one. It's the one trying to stop the bad one from getting out.
Okay.
It just happens to look like a rabbit. And then you let that one out, and it turns out that it's something called the Mimic. Yeah. Yeah. We love mimics, don't we?
Oh, man. Look for an orb.
So the Mimic, it turns out Gregory was never in the Pizzaplex. He was never in the Pizzaplex. And the Mimic lured her there.
Okay.
And the ending I got, that I know a lot of other people got, is Gregory lets you die. Because he can't let the Mimic get out. He knew how dangerous it was, so him and Vanessa locked it away.
So Vanessa turns out to be a good person at the end of the original game.
Security. You save her by the Princess Quest ending. You save Vanessa.
Okay.
And then the two of you lock up Mimic, and now Cassie's let it out.
So Mimic's the bad virus.
Yes. Mimic is another bad virus. It's not the glitch trap. It's something completely different.
So glitch trap is ended in the first one?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Because, okay, so the pizza complex is built on the charred, burned down underground remains of the Pizza Simulator game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whose brilliant idea it was to do that? I'd like to punch you in the throat. But yeah, so it's causing a lot of problems. So, because you can go down as Gregory and you see the sign for it. You can go in it, you go down, and then you meet Molten Freddy down there, which is this mass amalgamation of all of these animatronics from when they burned all together. The puppets like sticking in there, and Chica sticking in there, and Bonnie and Freddy, and you go into this back room, and there's Springtrap inside of a purple tube, and he just comes out. He's like, ah!
Huh.
Because he always comes back.
Yeah.
And Glitchtrap's trying to possess Freddy, and occasionally in this final fight, he will possess Freddy, and you have to like stop it.
So you gotta fight this Megazord number 2.
Not the Blob, because the Blob eventually comes and kills Glitchtrap
Okay.
or Springtrap, whatever the heck he is. The Blob ends up taking its revenge on him.
So the sister location Megazord takes out the Megazord that's in the burned remains with Springtrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened to those information droids that we kept seeing that was like they're like just
some of them are like Vanny drew on them. Some of them are decommissioned and just look like that. Some of them look like that because of ruin, because they're all like decayed and nasty because the place is being torn up. They all have different reasons for why they do it, but they're not necessarily like bad. I mean, if you walk past them, they're gonna make a bunch of noise and lure somebody to you, but like they'll grab you and be like, eh! And then an animatronic sees you and you're like, son of a bitch. Because like you have to sneak past them too, because some of them are security ones with a flashlight. They're like,
so they're not all information droids. They're just different droids with different tasks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Again, all AI controlled. Because why use human beings anymore? Trying to think. So yeah, in the ending I got, Cassie is dead or trapped.
Right.
And then in Help 1 and 2, there's a lot more. It's another VR game. There's a lot more going on there. That one I'm not going to delve into too much, other than like there's a theory that the character you play in there is Cassie's dad.
Okay.
Because at the end of it, you become the robot that gives Cassie the Vanny augmented reality mask. And there's some other mask you can find that is a Bonnie mask, but it's like you're a technician having to check all of this stuff, and you've got this mask and you've put the Vanny mask on, and now you've been turned into this and you're giving it to your daughter, because throughout that she says things like, oh, this looks like the thing my dad had. This looks like the thing my dad liked. Oh, my dad always liked Bonnie the most. It's like there's little threads and pieces that kind of make you go, oh, this is Cassie's dad. And it's just kind of interesting.
God, that thing with headphones that just is like 50 foot tall with like keys for teeth, like spider creature. Like, what the heck is that?
That's
and freaking was a baby?
Could be
had
baby. DJ Music Man. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, I also forgot about this. In Security Breach, there's another one that's in here, and apparently he's always been there. We just didn't know about it. Sun and Moon is the daycare attendant.
Yeah. What? Okay.
He's terrifying. Because during the day, he's like Sun, and he's wonderful, and he's great. And then Moon is a jerk. And he wants you to go to bed, and he's going to forcefully make you do it.
Oh, freaking like Homeboy in Hogwarts.
Yeah. And I am summarizing this so quickly because time-wise, but also because I'm not a super expert in all of the lore. I've watched Every Matt Pat theory. I've watched every Tom theory. Rye Toast, I kind of watch a little bit.
Right.
FNAF, Darko. I watch too much of it. I read the book. I have every Five Nights book. The Five Nights Frights, the Tales from the Pizzaplex. And these are not my favorite games. The ones that I've talked about. My favorite game isn't even canon.
Oh.
My favorite game's Into the Pit.
Yeah, the new one that actually just came out this month.
Yeah. Into the Pit's my favorite.
I gotta say, I do like the art style on that one though. It reminds me very much of like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's what I thought too. And then I found out it was supposed to be a cartridge game that Scott liked so much that they did a full release on it. And it is based after the first Fazbear Fright story, Into the Pit. And that story is dark and creepy AF. And so good. Because not all these stories are good. I'm sorry, Scott. Some of them are stupid. Fazgoo? Come on, dude.
Fazgoo.
I don't even want to talk about it because it makes my skin crawl.
Oh, okay.
But if you like Five Nights, the books are worth reading if you can get through about 6 cringy stories.
So, just looking at this one, is this supposed to be Springtrap?
Yes.
Okay.
This is like 1985, I believe it was. So this kid, and I'm spoiler, stop if you don't want to know anymore, but ignore it until, I don't know, I stop talking, I guess. So the story on this is basically this kid lives in this town that the steel mill used to be the big thing. Something happened and all these businesses left. The steel mill closed. His dad works at a convenience store. His mom is a nurse. His dad drops him off at this pizza joint every day in the summer. And he just sits there and he eats pizza and he just hangs out at this place till his dad picks him up to take him home. It's kind of a lame summer, but all his friends moved away and he has nothing else to do. So he's sick of it. And this is the last day before school starts. And he hears about this ball pit that Jeff has in the back. And he's like, I'm going to go find that ball pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to jump and hide in it. And I'm going to hide till my dad gets here. And make him think I'm lost. And he's going to stick it to his dad. Like most kids think, my parents are ignoring me. I'm going to stick it to him. Make him really scared. Like, they got to appreciate me more. That kind of thing.
Yeah. So
he jumps in the ball pit. Only the ball pit teleports him to 1985. Yeah. It's a DeLorean in the ball pit.
It's a hot tub time machine.
That too. Hot tub time machine with ringworm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically he goes back there. He hangs out with all these kids. Like, it is a Freddy Fazbear's. He did not know what Freddy Fazbear was. He didn't know what Jeff's was at one point. He tried to figure out what the stage was. He didn't know what that was. He had no idea. He had never heard of it before. He goes back in time. He sees all these kids. He makes all these jokes. He plays all these games. And the murders start. That day. The power goes off. And everybody runs screaming because somebody is killing people. And he is hiding in this Golden Freddy, at least in this. And he sees that Springtrap thing come and look at him. And he's like freaking out. And he hears everybody screaming and crying and all that other stuff. And people are running past him. And he gets lured into this room by the thing. He's like, I guess I gotta follow it. And he follows it, and there's all these bodies on the ground, and the thing's like, come here. And it tries to get him, and he runs away, and he jumps into the ball pit and goes back to his time. And his dad and Jeff are in there, and he's like, oh my God, I'm glad we found you. And his dad comes over to buy him by the pit, and he's like, how could you do that? And the Springtrap thing comes up out of the pit, grabs his dad, and pulls his dad in. And then so Oswald reaches and pulls his dad back out, only it's not his dad anymore. It's the rabbit. And like his dad's, like, looks like his dad. And only he can see it's not his dad. That it's this Springtrap thing. And there's this theory, because the illusion disc is the whole thing in the book, that like there's these discs that make people see what this thing wants them to see.
Right.
So it's this whole big thing. And eventually he does get his dad back. It takes a while, but it takes a few days of him. It takes him going back and getting him, but his dad was in that pit the whole time. The game does a really good job of breaking it up into like 5 days or whatever, but the book, like, because it's a short story, like really kind of condenses it really fast.
Right.
But it's a very good game. There's sounds elements, there's hiding elements, there's like
Skee-ball.
you sneak out of you sneak out of the house through the front door. The next night, the front door's boarded up. If you sneak out of the house with the ladder in the garage, the next day the ladder's gone.
Right.
Like, you cannot sneak out the same way every night. Which to me is pretty cool. I liked it. But yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. It has mini games, which is also great. Tells you more lore. But it's book lore. It's not game lore.
Yeah, so it's like the books are essentially going with a different task of how they're going about it, but still telling the same story, just more paranormal, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Bullshit. Yeah. So that's my summarization. That's all the things that I know about this. There's probably a lot more I could tell, but we're going on 2 hours and I'm so sorry.
Like I said, we could make this a series, but you wanted to go for the full Monty.
Honestly, this is one of those things that I needed to get out. And I wasn't
just like how I needed to get out on 7 days. So this is your vent. This is your platform.
Oh no, we have not hit my vent yet.
I know.
That is coming.
And we'll get to that later on.
That is 5 Nights. To my summarization, there's a lot more I missed. There's a lot of like different little games. There's the fan-made games. There's the Scott sponsored games. I'm not going to delve into that. There's the movie, for Christ's sake, which is a fantastic freaking film for this kind of franchise.
Right.
A movie that gets Mathew Lillard to play the villain again. When he did so good in Scream. And he was my Shaggy.
I mean, he's just a good actor. Like he can play both the villain and the, you know, the hero, basically.
The stoned up, toked up, dog loving mystery sleuth.
Munchies all the time. Yeah.
Jinkies. I had a big crush on Shaggy Rogers as a kid.
Oh, jeez. Fantastic. And on that note, that is our little trip on what is Five Nights at Freddy's? What happens? What is all of it? Like animatronics, this and that. What happens when you take Chuck E. Cheese and make it into what everyone thought it really was?
Which was creepy AF.
Yeah,
Chuck E. Cheese is creepy AF.
And it's still going on. Soon, actually, I want to say I heard some news that they were actually going to have some AI sort of put into it. So yeah, our nipers are going to be
Thank God my children are old enough to not like that.
But anyways, we'll deal with that when the robots take over and Terminators and all that jazz. But until then, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Thank you for just hanging out and on YouTube.
Yes.
The first time we're streaming outside of Twitch altogether, at least for the podcast.
And it was this one? Oh God.
Yeah, it was this one. So we will be back
In 2 weeks.
next month.
We will be back. He doesn't remember dates. I remember
I'm
dates.
not good with dates. I didn't
Give me
write
a
this one
second.
down. Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up.
Yep.
We will be back on the 13th for a Kevin handpicked episode.
Yay. Yeah, so yeah. That will be we're still going to continue on YouTube until like we actually run into some bad technical difficulties. Things don't work, things don't want to work because, you know, Windows. But yeah, from now on, the podcast will be broadcast here on the YouTube, on our channel, which will make my life a little bit easier. So
He's the tech guy. I'm the one
guy
who
that
talks
has
too
to...
much.
Fair enough. So yeah, we will see you in another couple of weeks. We really actually don't even have anything planned right now, and I probably should even
He
be saying that,
doesn't.
but I don't. What, like, you know?
Yeah. I know. I'm the one who writes it down.
Okay. Well. Anyways, thank you everyone so much for stopping by, hanging out, and liking the video. Hope you all have a good start to the Labor Day weekend, and don't eat too many hot dogs or drink too many beers. Please, 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 if you do choose to drink, do so responsibly. Don't ever think you can get behind the wheel and say, I got this. No. If you have to question it, please just don't. Have someone else drive you. Call an Uber. Uber's like a huge thing now, or even whatever the other company is. Please, please be safe out there. And don't light off any fireworks in your hands. Because you know that's going to happen again, right?
I forgot about fireworks this week.
Fireworks are another thing for Labor Day. So, until then, thank you so much. And take care. And we'll talk to you next time.
Adios.
Bye.